Evan Locke's name surfaced like a dark tide the night Charlie Kirk stepped off the Phoenix stage, a hidden adversary whose cryptic Discord messages turned a routine speaking tour into a race against an invisible assassin. Charlie Kirk ended his late-night speech in Phoenix to a roar of applause, unaware of the unseen danger already in motion. The crowd dispersed into the cool desert night, their chatter fading as security escorted him toward a waiting car. Hidden among the throng, a hooded figure lingered in the shadows of the convention hall, moving with deliberate precision. Surveillance cameras captured a fleeting glimpse, a blurred outline blending with the departing audience before slipping beyond the reach of the lights. No one noticed the stranger's careful gaze or the faint click of a phone camera taking silent photos of Charlie as he left. Hours later, long after the city settled into quiet, a private corner of the internet flickered to life. A Discord server, freshly created and nearly empty, began to pulse with ominous activity. Under the alias Silent Veil, a user posted a series of cryptic messages that read like fragments of a poem. The hour of reckoning waits, and when the echo dies, so will the light. Investigators would only discover these words weeks later, but their significance was chilling. The messages carried an unnerving precision, references to specific dates, veiled threats about voices that must be silenced, and coordinates that hinted at future locations. Yet at the time, no one outside that hidden channel knew they existed. Charlie returned to his hotel suite with the ease of a man who believed the night was over. His team performed routine checks, locked doors, and powered down for the evening. He glanced at his phone briefly, scanning a flood of congratulations and supportive texts before falling asleep. Across the city, the hooded figure sat in darkness, face illuminated by the glow of a laptop screen. Each keystroke sent another warning into the digital void, forming a trail that would later baffle even the most seasoned cybercrime experts. The plan was already unfolding. Silent Veil mapped every detail of Charlie's upcoming appearances, weaving them into the Discord posts like hidden riddles. Nothing about the night stood out to Charlie or his staff, but somewhere in the quiet, a dangerous obsession tightened its grip. The first chapter of a deadly pursuit had been written, not with spoken words or open threats, but with the cold precision of a stranger who had chosen a target and would not be stopped. Far from the bright lights of Phoenix, the Discord server grew into a secret theater of menace. What began as a handful of eerie posts turned into a steady stream of coded notes that fascinated and alarmed anyone who happened to stumble across them. Silent Veil, the mysterious user behind the messages, built an unsettling rhythm. Each entry arrived at midnight and carried the same detached tone, like lines from a chilling manifesto. The posts were rarely longer than a sentence. Stage lights burn brightest before the fall, or a voice that echoes too loudly must be quieted. Screenshots of these fragments started circulating among small online communities, but moderators dismissed them as the work of a bored prankster. Investigators would later learn that the server was more than idle chatter. Hidden among the cryptic lines were precise details of Charlie Kirk's travel schedule, each one disguised with subtle codes. Street names became symbols, dates were hidden in numerical puzzles, and photographs of city skylines contained faint digital watermarks revealing exact GPS coordinates. Whoever Silent Veil was, they possessed an uncanny knowledge of cybersecurity. Every time authorities traced a lead, it dissolved behind a fresh layer of encryption. VPN chains stretched across continents, proxies shifted within hours, and burner accounts appeared and disappeared like ghosts. The deeper experts dug, the stranger the pattern became. Alongside the threats, Silent Veil uploaded distorted images, grainy pictures of empty stages, microphone stands, and crowd barriers. In one photo, a lone chair sat under a single spotlight, a subtle message of anticipation. Another file contained a sound clip of static punctuated by faint clicks, which audio specialists suspected were intentional Morse-like signals. Each clue felt deliberate, as if the sender enjoyed a game of intellectual cat and mouse. Meanwhile, those closest to Charlie remained unaware of the gathering storm. Security teams followed standard protocols, confident that no real threat existed. But inside government cybercrime units, analysts began to feel an uncomfortable sense of urgency. Patterns in the posts suggested not only careful planning, but also a timeline and approaching date that could mean violence. Silent Veil's confidence was chilling. Every message read like a quiet countdown, Beneath the surface of everyday life, a hidden war of nerves had begun, with an unseen adversary shaping each move. The Discord trail was no longer just disturbing, it had become a map to something far more dangerous, a silent warning that the next step would not remain online. Detectives working on the case soon faced a wall of dead ends. Every lead they chased unraveled as if Silent Veil were always watching and anticipating their moves. The Discord messages became even more unnerving, dropping at unpredictable hours and containing obscure references to deserts, lonely highways, and the silence before applause. Forensic specialists combed through thousands of lines of chat logs, comparing timestamps, server pings, and language patterns. Weeks of analysis produced only fragments until a single careless mistake changed everything. One night, Silent Veil uploaded an image of a dimly lit corridor. At first glance, it seemed like another haunting symbol, but a junior analyst decided to check the photo's metadata. Hidden inside was a set of GPS coordinates pointing to a remote patch of land in rural Nevada. It was the first tangible clue, and a small task force was dispatched before dawn. The team arrived at an isolated farmhouse miles from the nearest paved road. Weather-beaten wood creaked in the desert wind, and the front door hung open as if inviting them in. Inside, investigators found a chilling scene. Newspapers and printouts covered the walls, many bearing Charlie Kirk's photo from various public appearances. A calendar pinned above an old desk had a single date circled in red, matching an upcoming rally scheduled in Dallas. Maps were tacked beside it with hand-drawn routes and symbols. No one immediately understood. In the center of the room sat an aging laptop, still humming with life, but the hard drive had been wiped clean. It was as if the occupant knew they were coming and vanished just moments before. Neighbors offered only vague descriptions of a drifter who occasionally came into town for supplies, a man who kept his head down and spoke little. After comparing local records, authorities identified him as Evan Locke, a former computer engineer who had once worked for a major cybersecurity firm. He had left that job abruptly after a series of troubling online rants, none violent enough to warrant serious investigation at the time. Now, with his name tied to Silent Veil, a clearer picture emerged: a man with the technical skill to disappear and the obsession to pursue a dangerous mission. Despite the breakthrough, Locke remained elusive. His digital footprints vanished into a maze of encrypted networks, and every potential hiding place came up empty. The farmhouse only deepened the mystery, proving that the hunt was far from over and that the target of his obsession remained in immediate danger. Authorities shifted into crisis mode as the Dallas rally drew closer. Federal agents worked around the clock, coordinating with local police to tighten every layer of security. Metal detectors, surveillance drones, and undercover officers surrounded the planned venue, yet an unease hung in the air. Evan Locke's face appeared on wanted bulletins nationwide, but he seemed to stay one step ahead of every effort to catch him. Analysts watched the Discord server obsessively, hoping for another clue, but Silent Veil's posts turned sporadic and even more cryptic. One message read only, "Curtains rise when fear takes root," accompanied by an audio file of faint footsteps on concrete. Cybercrime experts traced the upload through a labyrinth of rerouted servers and finally isolated a signal pinging from within Dallas itself. The revelation sent shockwaves through the command center. Locke was no longer a distant threat. He was inside the city, potentially already in place for an attack. Tactical teams scoured hotels, abandoned warehouses, and parking structures, but he remained invisible. Investigators believed he was disguising himself among ordinary crowds, waiting for the perfect moment. Hours before the rally, a maintenance worker inspecting the stage discovered a duffel bag tucked beneath a platform beam. The bag held a crude but operational explosive device with a remote trigger. Bomb technicians carefully disarmed it, noting the clever use of common materials that allowed it to pass unnoticed through routine checks. The discovery proved Locke had been close enough to plant the device himself, and that he had anticipated the heavy security presence. Authorities expanded the perimeter, delaying the rally while sweeping the entire site for additional threats. Meanwhile, the Discord server flickered with a final, unnerving message: "If not today, another dawn." The line sent a chill through the control room, hinting at future attacks or a broader plan. Analysts quickly tracked the server's latest IP address to an abandoned multi-level parking structure only a few miles from the venue. SWAT teams converged at sunrise, moving with calculated precision through the echoing concrete levels. Every corner and stairwell was searched, every car trunk opened, but the target was gone. Only a single laptop remained, balanced on the hood of a deserted vehicle. It streamed a live video feed of the very team searching the structure, as if Locke were mocking them from some unseen vantage point. His presence was undeniable, yet his body remained absent, turning the operation into a tense stalemate with a phantom who seemed to know every move before it was made. Daylight spilled across the empty parking structure as agents combed every level for evidence, their radios crackling with frustration. The laptop left behind by Evan Locke continued to hum, its battery draining while a silent video feed played on loop. Forensic technicians extracted the hard drive, hoping for a trace of his location, but it was a maze of encrypted partitions. Each folder required keys that didn't exist, as though the machine were designed to waste precious hours. A final encrypted file contained a single phrase when cracked: "Silence is victory." It was not a confession, only another riddle. Outside the structure, a citywide dragnet unfolded. Roadblocks stretched along highways leading out of Dallas, and helicopters swept the outskirts for any sign of movement. Tips flooded in from anxious residents claiming to see a man matching Locke's description, but every lead dissolved under scrutiny. Surveillance footage from nearby streets revealed nothing more than ordinary traffic. It was as if he had stepped into the night air and evaporated. Investigators turned to Locke's past, searching for overlooked connections. Former co-workers described him as brilliant but withdrawn, a man obsessed with privacy and the fragility of public voices. Old forum posts revealed a fascination with the power of silence, threads where he argued that true influence came from erasing noise. The more they learned, the clearer it became that Locke's attack had never been about destruction alone. It was a performance meant to terrify and humiliate, a game designed to prove he could move through the world unseen. Charlie Kirk resumed his schedule under a blanket of protection that followed him from event to event. Every public appearance now involved metal detectors, armored vehicles, and silent bodyguards scanning every crowd. Though the rally in Dallas eventually went ahead, the shadow of the near-miss lingered. People spoke of Silent Vale like a ghost story, a warning of how a single person with technical skill and obsession could paralyze an entire city. Months passed without another credible sighting. The Discord server vanished, leaving only archived screenshots scattered across underground forums. Some believed Locke had fled the country. Others whispered that he remained nearby, watching. For investigators, the case became a haunting reminder that not every criminal seeks capture or recognition. Evan Locke had achieved exactly what he promised. He silenced the noise, leaving only fear and unanswered questions. The legend of Silent Vale endured, a chilling echo that law enforcement could neither catch nor forget.